They say the meek will inherit the earth. We say the nerds are already in control. Welcome to the Frackin' Nerds, episode number 206. I'm your host, Doc Martin. Joining me, well, the only one joining me today, all the way over in Indiana, it's Mr. Kennedy.
That's right, bitches.
How's it going over there?
Wet.
All right. That's how it's going over here, too. So, all right. Well, on today's show, Hershey is releasing a new candy bar after 22 years. We talk about Thor Ragnarok. Have you seen Thor yet? Yeah, you haven't. What am I asking you? All right. Oh, shit. Hello. Apparently, my Google Chrome just crashed on me, but I'll bring it back up. So we're going to talk about Thor and it killing the box office. Also, it looks like the son of George Romero is going to be making a... oh, I lost you. Hold on there. Hold on. I got to hang up on you there. So apparently when that Chrome shut down, that cut him out too. I lost Kennedy for a second. That was interesting. So also George Romero's son is looking to be making a new zombie film and for his father. So that sets up our Twitter question of the week is, which is your favorite George Romero movie? Now, he's got a lot of different styles. You don't have to just go with the zombie movies or something like that. So, let's see here.
As a passion.
Ooh, what's that?
Has grown into an
Things
enterprise.
are just playing and going
That's why I
around.
switched to the Spark Cash Card from Capital One.
Turn that down. All right, let me see if I can bring him up now again. Technical issues. I don't know why Chrome decided to crash all of a sudden. That was no fun. Everything's trying to load up in Chrome. All right. Well, hopefully in a second I will have Kennedy back up. Otherwise, it's me, and nothing will want to click. Here we go. Now we'll try calling him again. Fun, as I carry the podcast by myself. And I don't want to join the conversation until he decides to join, because that would be weird for him to come in the middle of the show. So, yeah. Tweet us or hit us up at Facebook for Frackin' Nerds and tell us what your favorite Romero movie is.
Hello.
There he is. All right. So I'm already getting into the show. Apparently Chrome decided to crash on me, so I lost audio on everything. That was interesting. Except for, the Spreaker Studio and stuff like that. Remember, if you're listening to Spreaker Studio, if you're listening to the show live, you can come join the chat if you're on the app or on the website. Talk to us when we're live. Otherwise, wait till we're live again another time. Remember, you can also catch these podcasts on iTunes, Spreaker, Google Music, and now we just joined up with iHeartRadio. So download your favorite app and listen to these podcasts, among others. So in tech...
Well, Doc, it sounds like we've got a lot of exciting things coming our way.
We're definitely trying to, that's for sure, yes. So I'm surprised that people are like, yeah, we'll take your podcast. So hopefully it's not just the fact that they'll just take any podcast, but we'll see. Well, in tech news, you can now soon you will be able to talk to Pikachu through your Amazon Echo or Google Home. They're working on an app to where you can ask Pikachu many questions. It's going to be launched sometime later in Japan and then possibly in the U.S. in 2018. But I would say don't expect much from Pikachu, since Pikachu can only pretty much just say his name, just like every Pokemon. They just say their name.
Say Pika and Pikachu.
Yes. So you could be like, hey, Pikachu, what's the weather? And it'd be like, Pika, Pika P.
Oh, that's some fascinating stuff there, Pikachu.
Would you try out the Pikachu thing?
Well, of course, because I'm a fucking nerd. That's what I do.
Okay. I think I would definitely try it out once. It'd probably be fun if you were a kid or something like that to kind of play with it if you're a huge Pokemon fan. Speaking of the Pokemon,
I liked all the others.
The other Pokemon stuff.
Well, that and all the other stuff Alexa's done with Jeopardy and stuff like that.
Yeah, you were. You were trying to play it last week, weren't you?
Yeah, I was playing Jeopardy on yours last week.
Yeah, you were. You were all the way in Indiana talking to my Alexa, and she shined up. She was like, "What?" And also, speaking of the Pokemon, the people that created Pokemon Go are working on a Harry Potter version of that game. Not sure if you just go around and using spells or something like that. I haven't really read up on what exactly that's going to be, but now I guess we'll have Potterheads running around the place instead of Pokemon nerds.
You know, I saw some videos from that. It doesn't look too bad though.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any. I just read something about the game coming out.
Well, evidently it's going to look like on the map, how the map did in the movie, where it was just showing feet moving around and stuff.
Oh, okay. So it's your Marauders map.
So, yeah.
Okay. Did you ever see the little thing? If you actually look at the Marauders map, when they're showing it, at one point there's this two people. It looks like in a closet, and their feet are pointing the opposite direction of each other. So
I actually did see that on a website.
so they're getting into a little hanky panky there at Hogwarts. Well, also talking about Pokemon here locally, a Louisville father is accused of stealing Pokemon cards while the children acted as lookouts. Police say a Louisville father stole over $180 worth of Pokemon cards while his children watched. It happened at the Walmart out on Hurstbourne Lane. We know that very well. Just around 7:30 p.m. on a Friday, the 46-year-old Michael R. Hill was, I guess, ripping them off. I mean, they're right there by the counter where they set up those Pokemon things. Those and the collectibles. So, yeah, I mean, Christ. So how many cards is that if you're stealing 182 worth? I mean, that's a lot of cards.
Well, it depends. See, that's what... Are they going by store value? Or are they going by card value? I mean, who counted the cards?
I would have to go by store value because you never know what you're getting, right? How much are Pokemon cards a pack?
They're $4 a pack, but you can get those big packs, like the tins and stuff,
Okay.
for $20 to $30 a piece.
So maybe that's what he was... But that would be kind of hard to steal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but see, those booster boxes, I think those are 30 packs.
Oh, wow, okay.
So that would be, if you stole one of those booster boxes that, because, they come in like those card boxes and the store just pops the front off and then you take one little pack out at a time.
Oh,
so
I
if
got you.
Steal one of those boxes, that'd be $120 right there.
Oh, so that's how easily he could mount it up. What do you got a better shot at getting rare Pokemons in those, those bigger packs, or...
It's better, actually, to get the booster packs.
Okay.
I like to go to one of our local comic book shops here when they're doing Magic releases.
Uh-huh.
And I'll pay like $100 and something for a booster box and just get 30 booster packs and go from there.
Oh, there you go. That's very cool. So don't go stealing Pokemon cards. Surprised it's still a thing after 20 years. Well, speaking of after 20 years, Hershey's will release a new candy bar. They've been around for 117 years. Their last new release was the Cookies and Cream, which I enjoyed, out in 1995, and now they're releasing the Hershey's Gold.
Okay, while you're on that, I do have to say, I was walking through Walmart the other day, and I fucking kid you not. Okay, so everybody knows that they're always coming out with new Oreos, right?
Yeah.
They now have Cookies and Cream Oreos.
Well, isn't that Cookies and Cream? I mean, Oreos is pretty much Cookies and Cream, isn't it? It's a cookie
Correct.
and a cream.
It's Cookies and Cream, Cookies and Cream.
That doesn't work. No, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, you gotta stop thinking about it or you're gonna break your brain.
Yeah, and who's going, ooh, I want to get these Cookies and Cream, Cookies and Cream.
Right.
Yeah. I don't understand why there's so many weird flavors. It's like potato chips. Like, give me the regular. I don't need barbecue. I don't need these weird fancy ones because you never know what you're going to get. I've never had one where I'm just like, oh, this is a really good flavor. Just keep me traditional. I'm always happy.
Well, I don't know. They got that new apple pie one coming out. I kind of want to try it.
The Oreo?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's made instead. It's not chocolate. It's not the chocolate cookies. They're actually using graham cracker rounds.
Oh, that sounds interesting. That may be pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. The bar is going to be coming out December 1st. It's going to be a nod to Hershey's official partnership with the United States Olympic Committee. It marks 100 days until the 2018 Olympic Winter Games in Pyeongchang. Is that China that they're doing that at, or where is they doing that? I do not know where Pyeongchang is at.
I would assume Asia. We can just
well, obviously, yes.
Asia.
It's definitely going to be in Asia. Let me see if I get anything that comes up here. South Korea. That's where they're going to be at.
Oh, that's a slap in the face to North Korea.
Well, I don't think they're going to get the rights to do it. So that'll be
I bet they won't send. North Korea won't send a team.
Probably not. No, I don't know if they've ever they've competed in a while, or I don't know. That's a good question.
They were in like last year or something like that.
Okay.
But it was a very weird situation.
In movie news, with the new Star Wars coming out and Rian Johnson helming the episode 8 of the new one, apparently they're going to allow him to create his own Star Wars universe film trilogy. Just announced recently with Disney. Disney had a lot of announcements. We'll actually be going through some of those as the show progresses.
Hold on, what's his trilogy going to be about?
They don't know. I'm kind of hoping maybe the Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic is a trilogy? That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Like, what were the Jedis like and everything else? Kind of like how the game was. I thought would be very interesting if they could pull that off.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, he's either, well, I mean, I think they said, like, it's not connected. A completely new story with original characters set in a different galaxy. So that would kind of sound like Knights of the Old Republic, because that would be original characters, right?
It's a new story, original characters, different galaxy?
With original characters, like brand new characters set in a different galaxy.
With original of their own.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, not utilizing, Obi-Wan or something like that.
Well, that's not Star Wars then.
Yeah, it is if you do Knights of the Old Republic. Because
I guess.
you don't have Vader, you don't have like characters that were already the Cowboys are getting chippy on this Falcons game. They don't have those stuff like that. So
yeah.
you're not going to do a future thing, are you? They can't do a future
I
thing.
don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing some of the old battles
that they've talked about, like
young Yoda. I know it's not an
do
original
that.
character, but
Yeah. Well, that's why well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I don't know.
I would like to see if they would do Starkiller.
Yeah. But they already used
like,
the name Starkiller, though, for the base.
Well, Starkiller was the name of Vader's apprentice in the games.
Yeah, but
Force
is that
Unleashed.
canon, or is that not canon anymore?
Force Unleashed is canon. Was? Oh, Disney. Never mind. Disney ixnayed it.
Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't think it was actual part of that or not. Also in film news, Suicide Squad 2 may introduce their villain. And can you guess who they're talking about possibly being the villain in Suicide Squad 2?
Villain in Suicide Squad 2.
Yep.
No idea.
Let's go with a certain actor who keeps talking about being in a DC film, but they haven't made that DC film yet, and he's the only one been talking about a DC film for the last 3 years.
Talking about The Rock?
Yes. Apparently, rumors are coming out now that Black Adam will be the bad guy, because apparently they will send the
Black Adam's going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, they're going to
okay.
be sending the squad after what they considered a weapon of mass destruction. And that's what will introduce Black Adam. Not in Shazam, Suicide Squad 2. It just feels like they don't
Rock's
know.
going to be Black Adam in Suicide Squad. Okay.
Well, he's been talking about Black Adam for a while, ever since there was talks of them looking to possibly do Shazam. And then he come out and he was like, they signed him to be Black Adam. And then he's just been constantly like, we're going to make a solo Black Adam film. And I'm just like, but you're a villain, so how are you going to do that? That doesn't really work. So he's going with that. He really wants to play Black Adam. He's just really, really excited.
Evidently.
Yes.
That's racist.
Why is it racist?
I don't know. Is the Rock black or is he not black?
Well, he's Samoan, first of all.
And Black Adam's not black, was he? He was Middle Eastern?
He's like Egyptian.
Yeah, okay, so what are we going off? The fact that The Rock was the Scorpion King, so he just thinks he can play anything Egyptian now?
So, I think that's what it felt like. It felt like, ooh, we got the Scorpion King. Let's, like, when they shoved him into that movie, that graphics looked horrible. And then they're like, let's do a spin-off of the Scorpion King. I don't know. It sounds like a bad idea, but most of DC stuff does sound like a bad idea. Well,
I don't know. At this point, it's like, we want it to work, so let's just throw The Rock in it. Whatever.
Exactly. George Romero's son is moving forward with his Night of the Living Dead prelude film. Back in 2014, late George Romero's son launched a crowdfunding campaign to develop Night of the Living Dead prequel called Origins. and now he is pushing through to honor his father. And his father actually read the script and said it was genius, so it'll be interesting to see how this all...
According to who?
According to his father, George. He wrote him. He emailed him back before he passed away.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is there proof that George said this, or is he just
Yes.
like, yeah, my dad thought it was great?
He said he has the email to prove it, so it's not just him saying that from pride. It's the actual quote.
Well, it's like Tolkien's grandkid or whatever who's trying to write more stuff for the Lord of the Rings and all that.
And they're looking on a new project with that, the Lord of the Rings and Amazon, which we'll talk about. I think we have later in the notes. I would assume we do, yes. Alrighty. So that's going to be coming out. That sets up our Twitter question. I know you weren't online yet, or you were disconnected at the point. What is your favorite George Romero movie?
Dawn of the Dead.
All right, Dawn of the Dead. Which, like the original Dawn of the Dead remake, Zack Snyder?
I like the remake, but I like the original too.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I like the remake. It was like one of the few Zack Snyder films I actually enjoyed. I mean, I enjoyed the original 300. Watchmen to a certain extent. Jason Croce's Day of the Dead. I don't know. I guess he's a big fan of Bud. I always liked Night of the Living Dead. I was in the play for it also, but it's each one is very interesting. The dynamics and what Romero and the politics were doing in his films. Because the second one's about commercialism. The first one is about racism. I forgot what the third one is. Jason, since you're listening, do you remember what the third one, Day of the Dead, was supposed to be talking about? I know the one, I think after Day of the Dead, was supposed to be about everyone's connection to the internet. Because it was about these group of people riding around in an RV just recording everything and uploading it. And our obsession with the internet and constantly showing all our lives connected. I don't know.
Yeah.
Apparently, Robert Kurtzman expects excitement to deliver on this, so we will have to wait and see what goes on with this. I don't know. I'm still waiting to see what... George Romero still has one coming out called Road of the Dead that he was working on, I think, before he passed away, or it was completed. He was developing shortly before he passed away, so they still have one more to come out. Well, Thor Ragnarok has been tearing up the box office. Like the first week it came out, and my phone is like blowing up, apparently. Somebody is sending me a bunch of messages. Hold on. I'll turn this off. That's good. Just, I'm in a podcast, so go ahead and just start randomly sending me 8 images so that it keeps blowing up my phone. Thank you. Always. What did he say? It's always social comment. He did not have an answer for that. All right, so it's hauled in, I think, over $225 million or something like that domestically.
Well deserved. It's well deserved.
It's blowing up very well. Huge fan of this film. Very funny. If you're a fan of like Guardians of the Galaxy, you'll definitely enjoy it. It's much more on the lighthearted side with the comedy and everything else. I mean, it's not a deep film at any point of it, but effects, characters, and everything else, you'll have a good time with this film.
And guys, you're just going to have to download this podcast and save it because Martin actually liked the movie.
I do. Taiki Wadi, I'm a huge fan of his ever since I saw What We Do in the Shadows and what was the other one? Hunting for the Wilderman, I think it's called. I could be wrong. I know it's something like that. But I've enjoyed his work, and I had a good idea that this would be good. I mean, I like Guardians and, Guardians 2. I thought Guardians was a better movie than Guardians 2. And, I do like it. It's the DC films that are going to be more of a challenge.
Let me touch on something you said. You said you didn't think that it went very deep. I think in certain points it goes really deep.
And where would you say it was deep at?
Okay, so the part where it touches on the Hulk not wanting to go back into Banner at all can reveal emotions that we've previously not seen from the Hulk in any of the other movies.
Right.
And, the ties between Loki and Thor get touched on a lot. So
Well, they've always worked on that, like that brother connection and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
I just don't think it's not a complete just surface movie, but I do see where you get that from because it could be if you just take it that way.
It's it's a very simple film. Their father passes away, which I think released Hela is what and some are speculating that he was also holding back Thanos, and that's how Thanos is now out and moving about. And really, it's just about family dynamics, which they've always done in all three of the films now. And and then him just trying to get back to his his home.
Right.
So yeah.
And that what it touched. I don't want to release too much. If people haven't watched it yet, but when it touches on the end and it talks about what's the name of the place they live?
Valhalla. Or Asgard.
No, that's not where they live.
Asgard.
When they touch on the meaning of Asgard and all that, I like that.
Oh, I got you. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it works. Well, that also explains the direction of where it's going towards. And if you've read the comics, you know what happens to Asgard and where it all ends up. So, yes.
I mean, I read the Cliff Notes.
All right. It goes to Midgard.
You know me, I'm not a big comic guy.
Well, yeah. Well, at one point in the comics, I don't know if they're going to do it. I mean, so this could be a spoiler or not, because I don't know. I'm not the one making the movies. But in the comics, they move down to, like, Nebraska and set up Asgard down there and call it Midgard. And that's where all of them are staying at until ultimately, I think in the Ultimates, they get destroyed and kicked out again. And they're like, go fucking home.
Is that the origins of the Mormon religion?
No.
I'm sorry. That was bad. I won't say that no more.
All right. And then, also speaking of Star Wars, as we were talking about earlier, the Star Wars book confirms that the holiday special character that B. Arthur played in the on the show. Do you remember watching the Star Wars holiday special? It's horrible.
Ago.
About life, like what is it? The Wookiees are celebrating the life thing.
Dude, I don't even remember.
But B. Arthur's bartender character is apparently she's a lesbian, and now they've made it canon. I didn't know why. Me watching it once again, it's kind of like in the Thor movie where the lady playing Valkyrie was like, she's bisexual, and I instantly when I read that I go, does that help the story any? No, then it doesn't matter. Because I don't, nobody's, unless they're like, oh, well, people have to connect. Well, you know what? If you don't make a connection at all, you let the audience decide what they are. So if you're a lesbian and you like her and you don't see her hooking up with a guy, then you can just think she's a lesbian or whatever. But she likes both the cock and the pussy, so. I then continue on with the Disney news and Star Wars. Disney is pushing hard to have their recent they're pulling a lot of content from Netflix because they're starting their own streaming service. So they will be bringing now a Star Wars TV series along with a TV adaptation of Pixar's Monster, a fresh look at the High School Musical franchise, which I'm excited about, and an original series from Marvel, which I'm not sure what that will be or what it could be. I know Hulu just is about to release The Runaways, which I'm really excited about. They said that follows the book pretty closely, so that should be very interesting. Check Runaways on Hulu. I think end of this week or next.
So I've seen trailers for The Runaways, but there's another one that I've seen trailers for coming out that it feels a lot like The Runaways, and I can never remember what the name of it was.
You're probably talking about Cloak and it's not Cloak and Dagger, but they are releasing a Cloak and Dagger. I can't remember the chick's name. Jason, do you remember? Maybe it is it is Cloak and Dagger. It can't be it. Yes, it is.
The Runaways Cloak is the one that's really dark, right?
No. It's about these like high school kids that find out their parents are trying to destroy the world so that they can reclaim the world for themselves.
But is it done in like a very like scary movie style?
No, you were talking about the New Mutants. That's the movie that's coming
Mutants.
out. Yeah.
That's it. So, okay, so the Runaways and the Mutants are both part of the X-Men series, though, right?
No, Runaways are not.
Runaways are not. Okay.
No. Now, the kids all have certain powers or something like that, but they're not mutants, no.
Okay. Well, see, that's where I was trying to talk to somebody the other day about it, and I was just getting confused because both of them are getting released, closely, and it can be fucking confusing, I think.
Now, you're talking about the scary one where they're in the psychiatric ward and whatever,
right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's telling the story of Demon Bear from the New Mutants comics. If you've ever read that, that's what they're kind of working with, where this girl can, her power is that she brings this bear that can pull your nightmares and make them real in front of you. Spoilers if you didn't know anything about that. But this is some of the content they're working on. I know we had a discussion on our own Frackin' Nerds message board regarding is there enough content. They said they're going to price it lower than Netflix, but I mean, really, I think it's going to be a lot of just their shitty Disney Channel shows are going to be on there. And I'm sorry, Disney, but you have really shitty live action. Their live action is just shit. It's like
but you're going to be able to watch Hannah Montana whenever you want.
No, because I don't want to. Because once again, that's shitty. It's like the worst comedy writers get jobs with Disney because those jokes are just not funny at all. No,
they're not funny for you, but maybe for a teenager or a preteen.
Well, that was like my ex. Her daughter lived with us from like age 3 to 8. And I told her, I was like, you're not allowed to watch these. I was like, you can watch the cartoons because the cartoons are actually very well made on Disney. But I said, you're not allowed to watch these live because it was just like, it's brainless comedy. And I'd just rather them not watch bad stuff.
Was Phineas and Ferb on Disney?
Yes.
Yeah, I liked that one.
Oh, that was really good. And that's on, I think, they actually, what's funny is that they just got to put on Netflix. So I guess they'll be pulling that off soon. Amazon is looking to do a Lord of the Rings TV adaptation that'll be shorter than the movies. So are they actually going to remake it? Is that what's going on?
I thought it was continuation.
Of what? They were like, they got to go back for the ring because the ring didn't burn? I mean, the story's done, right?
But I guess it's just more lore in the world. I mean, look at the Silmarillion, all the untapped data there.
That's not part of the Lord of the Rings story. Then they would be just considered a continuation of Tolkien's. I think
the article's just using Lord of the Rings as a reference tool.
Oh, okay. Because it's a draw of the name. People are like, oh, it's Lord of the Rings, but it's not. It's going to be a continuation of Tolkien's stories.
Universes, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're just using that in the article to draw attention, like I said. I don't know. But I would be interested to see some of the stuff or see past things. You know, you always hear about the war and stuff like that.
Once again, you want to see these old wars that they don't really show.
I do. I don't understand where this has come from, that every single story has to be like, well, all of this shit happened, and we're going to show you some of the aftermath stuff that came from this.
Well, that's like
really?
Well, that's what like Lord of the Rings. I mean, I think they're going to, not Lord of the Rings, but Game of Thrones is looking to do prequels, kind of talking about how things led up to. So
why wouldn't they start with the story of destroying the Mad King? Why?
Yeah. And and if they're smart, like some of those people that are playing them in the flashback, you just bring them in for the new relaunched series.
Well, and so there's so many things doing. Okay, so the Hunger Games did it, Divergent did it, just everything. They're like, oh, all this shit has happened, and now we're going to tell you a story from that. And I want to know that shit. I want to see that shit.
You want to see all that and how it all works out.
Yeah, I want to see all the prequels. Yeah, the stuff before. You know, why is everything this way? And, you know, in the Hunger Games, it talks about, oh, well, we developed this method because it was safer, and they did the zones and stuff. Okay, well, what happened to cause the world to not be safe in the first place?
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
And Divergent was the same thing. Divergent took place, and I believe it was a future dystopian Chicago.
Ooh.
It was like, okay, we'll show or talk about or make a book about what happened before.
Oh, I've got you. Okay. Well, that's could be. CBS says
you're going to see it all the time now. I'm telling you.
Well,
you're going to see everything and be like, okay, well, this is a afterward story.
CBS on their All Access is looking to do a series reboot for The Twilight Zone, and helming it is going to be Jordan Peele, and his banner of Monkey Paw are looking to be working on it. Right now, you can still watch original Twilight Zone, which aired from 1959 to 64 on the CBS All Access app. I'm not sure when.
I don't know if I want to see Twilight Zone anymore, though. I'm ready for more Black Mirror. Is what I'm ready for.
Oh, well, that's supposed to be coming up soon, isn't it? Like in December or something like that.
I haven't seen anything else on it.
They already dropped a description of all the episodes that are supposed to be on the next one. So I know it's soon.
See, I think that's the new Twilight Zone. I don't think we really need to reboot it. And why Jordan Peele?
Because of after his Get Out and stuff like that. But maybe he's also a huge Twilight Zone fan, and they were just like, oh, he's hot right now. Let's see what he can do. I like anthology shows where you got a little 30-minute to an hour interesting telling. I mean, and Black Mirror's works so well because it's about technology that we're merely only 5 to 10 years away from. And
did you see that ad from Japan where they were like talking about making the robotic bees? And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. I think Japan or South Korea was also doing a thing where you could you would rate yourself on the internet, which could get you perks. And it was the same thing as that one episode where
right.
I was just like, no, this is bad, very bad.
That's what scares me about Black Mirror. Twilight Zone never scared me because it was like, oh, okay, this is shit that could happen in a random universe. Black Mirror is like all shit that could completely happen.
Very much so. But you know what's not shit, and that's Peaky Blinders, and it's looking to be coming back. Season 4 is coming on a premiere date on the BBC, November 15th, so that's very soon. If you've not watched Peaky Blinders, I recommend checking it out on Netflix. Very good. Clive Murphy's on there. Also, I think season 2 is when what's his name shows up. Tom Hardy. He's really
everybody
good.
Likes Tom Hardy.
Yes, and Sam Neill's in the show. It's very, very interesting. It is. It is very much interesting. All right. Well, if you got a PlayStation. I've got a note for homework for the next 2 weeks for Joshua and Kennedy. I forgot to tell you guys to come up with some homework. I need to finish yours. Have you read Southern Bastard?
Not yet.
I sent you the
file. I did find a copy of it at Half Price Books, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I sent you the file so you could read it.
When did you send me the file? We'll talk about that outside of here.
Yeah, you got it. I got a Google Drive set up with my my copy of it, so you can check it out. Well, if you got a PlayStation trophies can now earn you money for getting those awesome trophies. For 100 silver trophies is for 100 points or 1 point per trophy. 25 gold trophies go for 250 a point, and the 10 platinum trophies for 1,000 points or 100 points per trophy. A lot of times what you can buy is like music or something else because it takes a lot of points. 1,000 points can get you a $10 PSN voucher. Do you have a PlayStation?
Kind of nice.
What? Yeah.
That's kind of nice. I mean, I've got PlayStation trophies.
See?
That's a good idea.
Yep, there you go. It'll help. Comic book news. Brian Michael Bendis is leaving Marvel and going exclusive to DC. He's wrote a lot of comics for Marvel recently, and for some reason now he's moving over to DC. I don't know if Marvel just pissed him off or what happened, but he is now gone to the competition.
So here's a question, and this is probably going to stir up some madness here. But I'm not a big comic book guy. But I do feel like it seems Marvel's got better story, but DC has better graphics. Am I leaning on something there, or am I just crazy?
No, DC has apparently been doing better on their stories recently, especially what Scott Snyder's been doing with Batman. That's I think the Batman series and stuff on the DC are actually one of the top sellers currently. Ever so often, Marvel will get a good story out of one of their like side characters, but typically it's just still run of the mill or whatever major event is going on. Not really putting much over that.
Gotcha. But what about the artwork wise? I mean, is DC better than Marvel in artwork?
No. I mean, it all depends. I mean, and really, artwork is all subjective. I mean, some people like certain art, other people don't. I mean, there's some comics that I've read that I enjoy the story, but the artwork just was not good, or it just took me out of it. But that gives it much more worth because of the story. Others I really enjoyed the look. I know I have a hard time reading like some of the Transformers because there's so much action going on, and then they use the weird hey, we have to do a robot font for them to talk, and I'm like, I can't fucking read this because it's a mess. So I'm not enjoying this fucking comic. A while back we talked about Mark Millar's and signing with Netflix. So apparently the first Netflix comics that is coming out will be called The Magic Order. It's going to be published by Netflix themselves. It's going to combine elements of fantasy and crime thrillers, and the 6-issue series will follow 5 magical families who must face a new threat to their survival. I wonder if they'll build it and then create a TV show based upon it. If this is anything like typical Mark Millar, it'll go well for two or three comics, and then disappear for about a year or two, and then he'll have to quickly wrap it up and not go very well. Because if you ever read Mark Millar's in some really good stuff, but he takes on too much, and then he just trying to wrap it up, it goes bad. It goes really bad. So,
well, I mean, I feel like sometimes that Netflix is just owned by 6 very nerdy people, and they're just like, what would be the coolest shit we could do?
Yeah.
And then they do that shit, I have been nothing but impressed with Netflix, and, if something happens to change my opinion, I'll be open to change it, but for right now, I'm a happy connoisseur.
I got you. Yeah, you've been preaching about Netflix for a while now. Millar World also is going to be hiring Mark Hamill, legendary. He played, I don't know if you know this, played Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars original trilogy.
What's his name? Mick Hamill?
Mark Hamill. I've
never heard of him.
They used Mark Hamill's likeness in the Secret Service and then hired him in the Secret Service movie, but he played a different character. Both ended up dead. Spoilers. So now he's actually going to be hired on to write a comic for them. It's not the first time Mark Hamill has written a comic. He wrote The Black Pearl with Eric Johnson in 2001 for Dark Horse Comics. Also, Bart Simpson's Treehouse of Horror #7.
I think I remember hearing about that a while back.
And then last news, we got more information about the GameStop to launch the unlimited use service. It's going to be $60 for 6 months. And what you do is you pay up front. And then you can rent out one game at a time. It's got to be a used game. So now you got to hope that used game that you're wanting to play is available. And then after the 6-month period, you get to keep one of the games.
What?
Yep.
For free?
For free.
Huh. So roughly $10 a month? That's about the same price as GameFly was.
Yeah. And then after that, if there's a game that you really like, you get to keep it. You have to be a GameStop Power Up Rewards members, but there are free versions of the membership will work. This is going to be launching next week, November 19th, and the pass must be activated by January 31st of next year. Are you thinking
about 2 months?
Are you thinking about maybe possibly doing this?
I may do it. I mean, that's not too bad priced.
No. You cannot order through the online library. You have to go to your local GameStop. So make sure your GameStop has good games. But there's always a GameStop within 5 miles of wherever you're at, usually, if you live in a decent city.
Yeah, if you don't live in BFE like me.
Yeah, you do. Yours is probably 20 miles away.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that will bring the show to a close. I want to thank Jason Crow for joining the chat along with a few other listeners. Remember, you can listen to this show. We do it live. We try to do it live every Sunday starting at 6:30 if we can. But if you can't catch the live show, you can always catch us on the Spreaker app, Spreaker.com, iTunes, Google Play Music, and now iHeartRadio, among probably other podcasting locations. You can also follow us on Facebook to find out current event news that we post, where we're going to be at, and when when the show goes live, if you are a fan of the Facebook page and the Twitter page, it'll send a link when we do go live, so you can always click on that and listen. Kennedy, what'd you learn this week?
I don't know. The new chocolate bar coming, or the caramel bar coming.
No, you were way too excited about that earlier when I heard you discussing that with other employees. You're like, oh, this is awesome. This is gonna be really good.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds awesome.
I gotta wait and see how it tastes. I don't know.
I do want to say that, guys, watch us. We're going to have a lot of, hopefully, new content coming out. We're going to have a YouTube channel going at some point.
Well, we do have a YouTube channel, but we're going to start trying to get
it's going to be
weekly to daily content. Weekly to daily content, but this is all going to be tied in along with Simply Drunk, the Controller Girls. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we're all connected to. So if
lots of exciting things.
If you listen to the show, you'll find another show that we're all connected to, or a YouTube show that you will enjoy. So once again, follow the Facebook, Twitter page for when we're going to be launching new programming, and then we'll also get the information about the YouTube channel that'll be going up. And I think we're also working on a Roku channel that will be a part of it too. Somebody is working on that for us, so that if you have a Roku, you can have all content from a bunch of nerds like us. So yeah,
bunch of nerds like us.
So watch out, Nerdist. We're really behind.
Yeah.
And then what I learned this week is, let's see. I don't know. I mean, well, the biggest thing is that Rian Johnson apparently did such an incredible job with the new Star Wars. They're like, here, just go ahead and do a trilogy. And he's like, okay, that's cool. I don't know if Rian Johnson talks like that, but that just tells me that this next one's going to be fucking epic if they already just put that much heart into him. So I'm super excited to be seeing episode 8 within, a month now, right? We're really
15th.
close. I think all the theaters around us are actually sold out. And I should have my fucking movie pass fucking this week. You know what? And I'm gonna give some advice out there. If you are having problems with a business, apparently Twitter, if you get on Twitter and you fucking bitch about it, they want to shut your ass down as quickly as possible. Because if you go through their fucking bullshit email thing, it's a generic fucking response and never fucking answers what you needed to answer. But you go on that Twitter and you're like, this is fucked up, what's going on? And they're like, hey, slide into our DMs, we can help you out. And, what I've been dealing with since August 15th is finally, they're like, oh, yeah, we'll reissue another one. Really? Thanks. I'm glad it's taking this fucking long.
Dicks.
I think it was the fact that we went ahead and signed up my girlfriend for one, and I'm like, I guarantee you're going to, because I have friends that, signed up mid-October, and they already have theirs for the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, fuck you. It's been August 15th. I should already have mine. And so when I put, I bet she's going to get hers first, I bet they were like, oh, that'll make us look bad. We better not do that. The funny thing is as soon as I did that, and they're like, yeah, here, just contact us. We'll help. It was 20 other people. Well, what about me? What about me? And I was like, see, I know, it's all bullshit. All right. Well, we got some, we're going to do some role-playing game tonight so I got to love it.
If this keeps going well, we may even start streaming it.
Well, we're gonna have to work on some people and see how they talk. We need people not to be embarrassed about making up characters and just having fun. So just not feel, don't worry about feeling stupid. I mean, it's the same thing as coming on and doing a podcast. Some people are like, oh, I don't worry what people think. I don't care. I go have fun. Just make it fun. Exactly. All right, Kennedy. Well, thanks for calling. Once again, Jason Crow, thank you for being on the chat along with other people. Catch us on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere else where social media could be, even on Elo. No, we're not on Elo. I don't think anybody's on Elo. So this is Doc Martin saying, have a frackin' good week.